So this morning we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Just a moment. 10th canto, chapter 15, the killing of the Nuka and the ass demon, text 37 and 38. Text 38 is on the board, so I will first recite text 37, no need to repeat, and 38 we repeat together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastabesya Bhatesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike. So I recite 37 first, no need to repeat. Tam stam apatata Krishna Ramasane Palilaya Hehita Pashat Sharanam Praino Trinarajasu. Translation. O King, as the demons attacked, Krishna and Balaram easily seized them, one after another, by their hind legs and threw them all into the top of the palm trees. There is a short commentary of Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami says, Sukadev addresses the king out of joy. Or just as a king easily kings animals while hunting for sport, these two boys easily killed the donkeys. Trina Rajasu comes from Trina Rajan. In a compound, it usually becomes Trina Raj, and the local plural would be Trina Rajesu, but the rule is not universal. That's Sanskrit grammar. Now we have text 38, can repeat. Phala prakara sankirnam Daitya dehar kata subhi Rarachabu satalakes Ganerivan abastalam Phala prakara sankirnam Daitya deher kata subhi Rarachabu satalakes Kaneriban abastalam Phala prakara sankirnam Daitya deher kata subhi Rarachabu satalakes Ganerivan abastalam. Please. Falapakara Sankirnam Detade Gata Subhi Rajabu Satalagre Kanerivanavastalam Falapakara Sankirnam Detade Gata Subhi Rajabu Satalagre Kanerivanavastalam Palapakara Sankirnam Detyade Gata Subhi Rajabu Satalagre Kanerivanavastalam Palapakara Sankirnam Detyade Gata Subhi Rajabu Satalagre Kanerivanavastalam. Mataji's, please. Falapakara Sankirnam Detyade Gata Subhi Rajabu Satalagre Kanerivanavastalam. Okay, word for word translation. Falapakara, with heaps of fruits. Sankirnam, covered. Daityadehai, with the bodies of the demons. Gata Asubhihi, which were lifeless. Raraja, shown forth. Bu, the earth. Satala Agre, with the tops of the palm trees. Ganai, with clouds. Iva, as Nabatalam, the sky. Translation by the translation by disciples of H.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The earth then appeared beautifully covered with heaps of fruits and with the dead bodies of the demons, which were entangled in broken tops of the palm trees. Indeed, the earth shone like the sky decorated with clouds. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the bodies of the demons were dark, like dark blue clouds, and the large quantity of blood that had flowed from their bodies appeared like bright red clouds. Thus the whole scene was very beautiful. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his various forms such as Ram and Krishna, is always transcendental. And when he enacts his transcendental pastimes, the result is always beautiful and transcendental. Even when the Lord performs violent acts like killing the stubborn as demons. The purpose of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Purport of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The earth appeared splendid with the piles of tala fruit spread out everywhere, with the bodies of the dead demons mixed with the broken tops of the tala trees. the dark tala trees tinged with red blood of the demons appear splendid, like the red clouds covering the sky at sunset. Jiva Goswami. The bodies of the demons did not quiver. The earth beneath the tala trees, Bhutalam, spread with fruits, shone. Phalaprakara Sankirnam modifies talam. Because of Krishna's friends, they became filled with joy. Or, Jiva Goswami said, Bhu can be an indeclinable, as in the word Burloka, or Bhu can stand for Bhuva, with the case ending, dropping according to the rule Supam Suluk Panini 7.139. Yes, grammar. Or, Jiva Goswami said, the earth was characterized by the dead bodies, and the tops of the trees shone with the scattered fruit. Phalaprakara Sankirnam acting as adverbially close. And then Naban Talam can be taken as one phrase meaning the form of the sky, since Tala means form or supporting according to Vishva Prakash. So Jiva Goswami really goes in the Sanskrit. And then Sanatana Goswami, he writes, the earth at the base of the trees, Talam, was crowded with fruits and shone because of the bodies of the demons, lifeless, without movement on the treetops. Bhu. Bhu is as indeclinable as in the word Burloka. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Janansana Sulakya Sakshunmritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Nama Chitchetaya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamyam Dadanti Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyuda Padakamanam Shirum Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sativam Sadvaitam Savrutam Parjana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakanalita Shivishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Goka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gauragira Devrindavaneshwar Vishavana Sata Devi Pranamama Haripriya Vanka Kalpta Visha Kripasan Vivisa Patina Pavanabhyo Vaishyabhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desotarane Srila Prabhupada Ki. So Krishna is always full of Ananda. He's Satchit Ananda, always full of bliss. Whether he dances with the gopis or he kills demons, he's always full of bliss. This is spiritual life, only bliss. When Uddhav was sent to Vrindavan, and then he was first meeting Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda. And Nanda Maharaj, he had his head down, Mother Yasoda eyes were closed, tears came out of her eyes. And Uddhav, he speaks an interesting verse there. He says, I'm happy, very happy to see you in that condition. It's strange, they are suffering, and he says, I'm happy to see you in that condition. But factually, because they had such an intense love that the suffering was an expression of love. And they felt ecstasy, great ecstasy. It's great pleasure. But in the material world, suffering has another nature. And also, it appears here, everything Krishna does, and also his pastimes, are artistic, always very beautiful, joyful, that we see here in this verse, these bodies of these dead demons are lying there, but it's very artistic and very nice to see it. It's interesting that. So I remember when during the Bhaktivedanta course we were discussing the Kaliya pastime, and there we know at a certain time Krishna is within the coils of Kaliya, and when the cowboys saw this, they fainted, and Mother Yasoda was thinking, I cannot maintain my life. And all the gopis were speaking to Mother Yasoda, remembering her Krishna's childhood pastimes, that would keep her alive. And Nanda Maharaj, I think the battery is off, that Hare Krishna. So I will try to speak a little louder, maybe you can come a little closer. So Nanda Maharaj was thinking that I'm going to end my life, I'm going to enter the Yamuna. But Balaram came, and Balaram said to Nanda Maharaj, you don't know the unlimited power of my brother, that soon he will take care of this serpent, that and if you commit suicide, then when he comes out, who is going to take care of him? So Nanda Maharaj refrained. So it looked a very dramatic situation. Everyone was suffering because of Krishna's being imprisoned in these coils of Kaliya. One of our commentators, he said, Kaliya was embracing Krishna. And he felt so much ecstasy that he didn't want the embrace to end. But somewhere or another, Krishna came out of the embrace. And he jumped on the hoods of Kaliya. And he started to use Kaliya's hoods as dancing platform. And it was dancing very artistically, Bharatnatyam, and he was with his heels, he was making sounds and jumping from one platform to another, dancing. And all the demigods, when they saw they came down with their instruments, and they started with their drums, with their bugles, whatever. They started the big concert. So in just a few moments, it came from a situation of suffering to a festival. That very beautiful to see this dance. That so the Kaliya pastime turned into a festival. That so that this is something to learn for us. Suffering comes through to false ego, identifying with the body. It's because of the body that we are suffering, the material body. That if we transcend this duality and identify with our spiritual identity, then there's no suffering anymore. That when Srila Prabhupada was the last time in London, because he was in August 1977, he felt much better, because he had been very sick. He left Vrindavan, he wanted to go to America, and he arrived in London. But in London, he became again very sick, his body became very sick. And he was practically the whole time in bed. And when the devotee asked Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, are you suffering?" And Prabhupada said, "I don't feel anything." So that's being liberated. Always joyful. But it's not only joyful, it's beautiful. It's attractive. It's artistic, Krishna's pastimes. That artistic is one of the qualities of Krishna. It's described in Nectar of Devotion. In Nectar of Devotion, that Srimati Radharani, she speaks as follows about Krishna. She speaks to one of the other gopis and she says, "My dear friends, just see how Krishna is nicely composed songs, and how he dances and speaks funny words and plays on his flute, wearing such nice garlands. He has dressed himself in such an enchanting way, as though he had defeated all kinds of players at the chessboard. He lives wonderfully at the topmost height on artistic craftsmanship." So whatever Krishna do is artistic. We heard the verses when we hear the verses of Bhagavad Gita, it's such a beautiful poetry. And at the same time, it's the deepest philosophy. This is a spiritual platform. But I found also an account of this of the killing of the Nukasur in the Garga Samhita, and I want to share that with you. We get so much details there. And also, it gives some amazing insights. It said, according to Garga Samhita, the Nukasur had a midday nap when Krishna and the cowherd boys came into the forest. So he was sleeping in midday nap, the Nukasur. But then the Nukasur attacked Balaram, and he hit him with his rear legs, hind legs. Yeah. Then Balaram, he threw him 8 miles. That's in the Garga Samhita, 8 miles. So, and then the Nukasur fell unconscious. But then the Nukasur got up again and hit the cowherd boys in a terrible 4-horned form. So it changed this form, interesting, 4-horned form. But then the cowherd boys are going to help. That's an amazing. It's an amazing example of teamwork. So in our movement, we are all working together. That we have a teamwork, that we are all working together in Prabhupada's mission with the purpose of spreading the Sankirtan movement. But here we see the coward boys. Sudam hit him with a stick, and Subal punched him. Stoka Krishna whipped him with a rope. Vishal kicked him. Teyasi tried to strangle him. Devaprastha slapped him. And Verutapa hit him with a ball. Interesting. That's quite a cooperation. Teamwork. And then Krishna threw him into Govardhan Hill. That's new. And he was unconscious for 1 hour. 1 hour he was unconscious. And then the demon assumed his normal form, and he grabbed Krishna with his arms and flew into the sky 800,000 miles. That's far. Far in space. But Krishna threw him to the ground and knocked him unconscious. But then the Nukasur got up again. Then the Nukasur uprooted Govardhan Hill, and he threw the hill at Krishna. Krishna caught it and threw it back. The Nuka caught it and threw it back again. And so did Krishna. And then he attacked Balaram. He attacked Balaram again. And then Lord Balaram killed him. So Lord Balaram caught him by the front hooves. And with one hand he whirled him and threw him in one of the tops of tall trees. And then there was a domino effect. All the tall trees, one by one, they fell. So then in the Garga Samhita it's concluded. Then leaving his body, the Nukasur manifested a splendid dark form in yellow garments and decorated it with a forest flower garland. And then a chariot filled with 100,000 of the Lord's associates decorated with 1,000 flags and with 1,000 wheels, with 10,000 horses, glorious with 1,000 chamaras, studded with many jewels, 8 miles long, beautiful, traveling as fast as the mind, and decorated with many bells and tinkling ornaments, suddenly appeared. So this chariot appeared. Then the demon, between brackets, the demon, he circumambulated Krishna and Balaram. And then filling the directions with light, he ascended the chariot and went to Golok. So the demon went to Golok in the Garga Samhita. It's amazing that also this cooperation is very interesting. Sudam hit him with a stick, Subal punched him, Stoka Krishna whipped him with a rope, Vishal kicked him, Teyasi tried to strangle him, Devaprastha slapped him, and Verutap hit him with a ball. Because in the beginning of the pastime, or I think we read that last time, when I was here, that was the beginning of the Nukasur pastime. Then the coward boys expressed their desire to Balaram that he would kill this demon. But Balaram said, "Yeah, why me? Why not you? Why should I do it?" But they said, "Yes, we want to see your strength." that, but like, we have also when Govardhan, Krishna lifted Govardhan, then all the cowboys, they helped with sticks trying to support also Govardhan. But then Krishna made the hill let go for just a little moment, and all the sticks broke. So they realized there is nothing that we can do. The sticks got crushed. Krishna, in reality, is holding everything up. He's doing everything. But this mood of cooperation is important between the worlds. That everyone contributes to the final success of this movement. And that is the mood of Bhakti. We cooperate to please Krishna. We hear in the Bhagavatam also, the Varnashram system was there for Haritoshanam, pleasing the Supreme Lord. Because Bhakti means cooperation with Krishna. And that cooperation must be voluntarily. That in Bhakti we cannot have forced cooperation. Forced cooperation we are all experiencing. Forced cooperation means our karma. We are forced to act according to our material nature, Krishna says, our karma. When we do not want to cooperate with Krishna, we have to cooperate with the law of karma. We have to bow down. But when cooperation is voluntarily, just for serving Krishna, and we just try to carry out the desire of Krishna and his devotees, that is Bhakti. So, that is the essence that Prabhupada came to the West with two weapons. But where is two weapons? Srimad Bhagavatam, someone says. Please? Yeah, Harinam, Sankirtan. Prabhupada said I came with two weapons. He says, Harinam, the holy name, and the order of my spiritual master. That where is two weapons. So, because if we follow the order of our spiritual master, then everything will follow. That without following the order of the spiritual master, we become asar, useless. It's important, that order. And we cooperate with that order. And Krishna accepts this as Bhakti. Priti Purvakam. Dadami Buddhyogantam. Krishna gives us realized knowledge from within the heart. But essential in this verse is, yes, in spiritual life, everything becomes artistic and beautiful. And when I came the first time to this temple, I felt this is the most beautiful temple, one of the most beautiful temples I ever saw. Everywhere, very artistic. And this is Krishna consciousness. It's about Bhakti Ras. Bhakti Ras means, Rupa Goswami said, one spiritual mellow, spiritual emotions. And these spiritual emotions, we find this rasa, we find that in Krishna's pastimes, everywhere. That whether Krishna is on the battlefield, or Krishna is in Vrindavan, or Dwaraka, that it's all spiritual enjoyment. The relationship with his queens, the relationships with the residents of Vrindavan. It's all about rasa. But this rasa is spiritual happiness. So, Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Devotion there are three kinds of happiness. Material happiness, the material happiness of sense enjoyment, the happiness of Brahman, and then the Bhakti ras, the spiritual, real spiritual happiness. And that is what we are meant for. That Vedanta Sutra says, Ananda Maya Vyasat. We are meant for experience this Ananda, this spiritual happiness. We are not meant to experience the happiness of the body, which is practically absence of suffering. It's not real enjoyment. Yes. It's an experience in the mind, which is a material element. But with the mind we cannot experience this bhakti ras. This bhakti ras is experienced in the heart, where the soul is. And that's natural. In the material world we are trying to get this unending happiness, but it's not happening. We get just the opposite. And Krishna says here that if you want sense and mind enjoyment, you will get the opposite. Ye samspasya bhuga dukayonga evata atyante kauntya na teshu amate Buddha. The sages have said, when you try to enjoy your material senses, you have to pay for this enjoyment, and the payment is suffering. That's your karma, that's the reaction. So, where is that man who is sane, who will engage in sense enjoyment? It's just illusory energy. But our real heart, what we are searching, is Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. Because this bhakti ras is only experienced if we develop our relationship with Krishna. And we see here this example of these cowboys. They have all a relationship with Krishna. Whatever Krishna says, we will cooperate. And they cooperate, and everything becomes blissful. And that is also the experience in devotional service, when we start to serve just on the order of the spiritual master, nothing for us. We do everything for the spiritual master, who is representative of Krishna. Then automatically we become peaceful. When there is no personal interest for profit, then the result, good or bad, will not touch you. And that is a lesson to learn. Of course, the Nukasur, is a special case. But for all of us, we need to get out of this material world, get out of here. But how to get out of here? The first step is be part, but be apart at the same time. We engage in devotional service with the body, mind and so on is a bad bargain. But we use it to connect our heart and absorb our mind and senses in Krishna's service. And then we forget about this material world and this attachment, the attachment and the aversion. It's because of attachment and aversion that we are suffering, and the attachment of aversion is related to the body. What gives happiness to the body? What gives pleasure to the body? What gives pain to the body? That we don't want the pain, we want only the enjoyment part. But if you become a devotee, then enjoyment of pain, we don't care. We serve Krishna. We don't have time for it. No time for it. That when Prabhupada was giving a lecture somewhere in America, and he was, at the end of the Bhagavatam class, the devotee asked a question, quite a direct question to Prabhupada, and said, Prabhupada, you have lust in your mind. And Prabhupada humbly said, yes, of course, that we have to understand the material body is made of lust, mode of passion. That's why we have it. That Prabhupada was very humble, of course. There was no question of lust in his mind. But then later in the morning, he went to another temple, and when he came out of the temple, the same devotee who asked that question opened the door. And he looked at the devotee and said, yes, I've lust in my mind, but I've no time for it. So that's the point, that we should have no time for it. Always absorbed in Krishna's pastimes, in his teachings, in serving Krishna, in hearing about Krishna, the 9 angles of devotional service. And you are like a liberated person. Even your hand may still be impure. But you act on a liberated platform by always engaging your body, mind and words in the service of Krishna. And that are the actions of a liberated soul. And that is also the advice Krishna gives Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. You fight for me. You fight, but you fight for me. You cooperate. You cooperate. And you fight for me. And then the fighting becomes, because Krishna says, fight without being attached to failure or success. That failure of success is material for the body. We make so many plans, but the soul has no message on it. Your entire life, you may be materially happy or materially unhappy. It doesn't matter. You have to die. It's all for nothing. That we have to be concerned with our real self, the soul, and therefore, if we always engage in Krishna's service, then we don't have time for all this so-called attachment and aversions. And it will destroy this attachment and aversions. So therefore, it is said in the Bhagavatam, Savaipam Saparodamo Yato Bhakti Odoksya Ahait Kapatiyata Yatma Shubhashidati. Pure devotional service. This is the definition of pure devotion service, one of the definitions. The highest occupation of all human beings is pure devotional service, and that should have 2 qualities, that without material motivation. So we cooperate to serve, to please Krishna and the spiritual master, without, and the second is apatiyata, is without interruption. Don't do anything else on devotional service. Everything you do for Krishna. Yat karosi yat asnasi yat yos dadasi yat tapasyasi kanti yat kos vamat avadam. Whatever you do, whatever you give away, whatever charity, whatever austerity, do it mat arpanam, as an offering of love to me. And that is what we have to learn, to be continuously engaged in devotional service. And we see the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. Krishna's pastimes are so intense, they don't have anything else to do than being with Krishna and going to the pastimes. And that is a quality of bhava. That quality of bhava is that one does not lose any moment. Always so busy, very busy in Krishna's service. No time for anything else. And that was Prabhupada. I saw also my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj. He was in Ujjain, and the doctor said you have to follow this cure. So he was following a cure, but so he had to stay the whole day in his room. But he organized so many things from his room that it became an office, and so many things. Well, he was managing from the room. It's amazing that, and that is something we have to learn. Always be engaged in devotional service. And if we always engage in devotional service, we will always feel satisfied. That's the first effect. One feels satisfied because it satisfies Krishna. And that's the secret of devotional service. If we always engage in Prabhupada's service, we will never be morose, that depressed. It doesn't exist. Because one Mataji, a disciple, showed Prabhupada a picture of Prabhupada in Vrindavan. She showed that picture, and Prabhupada looked morose on that picture, depressed, and Prabhupada looked at it and said, "Yes, I remember that moment. I felt great ecstasy." So you cannot say that from the outside, that a pure devotee that is always feeling this ecstasy, because Prabhupada was always feeling Krishna in his heart. And he said Krishna was talking to me, he says. That, because I'm reading my own books. Who reads his own books? That Prabhupada said that shows I did not write the books. That Krishna personally dictated me the books. So these are Krishna's words. Also Prabhupada's purpose. Interesting. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Any question or comment, please? Yes.
My question is, Maharaj, when we reach to the 24 hours engagement service of Krishna, then we feel satisfied. But what other can be the impetus for us, like we are engaged in so many other responsibilities also, we are feeling at present suffering and happiness. So what other factors we can see for us spiritual platform, so that we also get inspired?
Yeah, so what you are saying is, okay, that 24-hour engagement in Krishna service is the ideal, but we have so many things to do as Shriyasta and work and so on, and still we are suffering from this happiness and distress. So what to do about it? That's your question? Yeah. That, well, to come to this platform of always being engaged in Krishna's service depends on desire. Because that's the activity of the soul, desire. But because material nature is doing so many things, practically amani gunakarma sarvasa, ahamkara vimudatma kartamiti manyate. Krishna says everything is done by material nature. And of course, Krishna controls material nature. And one who thinks that he is the doer, he is a Vimuda. So that's the first thing we have to understand, that we only desire. We have to purify our desire. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on developing this desire. That Rupa Goswami said, Laulyam, one must be greedy to that. And to come to that platform, it's important to hear regularly and learn the art on how to be 24 hours a day be engaged in devotional service. 24 hours a day. And that is what Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita. We should learn this art. That starts with understanding that Krishna has put me in a certain position, that in a certain situation, because of my past karma. That means Krishna wants me in that position, and we have to work from that position. And trying to engage your situation in Krishna's service. So it starts gradually. You do your work, but you know that first there are different levels of karma yoga. The karmani vadakashti mafaleshna kachana. Krishna says, you do your activity without attachment to the result, 247. That's the first. Prabhupada equates karma yoga with bhakti yoga. But then karma yoga must come to a higher level. Krishna explains that in Bhagavad Gita, that Shakhnakta karmanoyata loko yam karmavana. So do everything as a sacrifice for me. So that means that it's not that we are, the first level is I'm doing my work and then I get a salary, the result, and I use it in Krishna's service. That's the lowest stage. The next stage is 3.9 Bhagavad Gita. You do the work itself for Krishna. Not only the result, you have to do the work itself. So before, we should understand, Krishna has put me in that position to serve him from that position. It means that Krishna has put me here to serve him in that position. So you start to do your work for Krishna. You do your work for Krishna internally. So in your work you have challenges, ups and downs, you have to deal with that. So you pray to Krishna, Krishna, I'm doing the work for you. Please help me to overcome that. And you try to use your situation to think of Krishna, feeling helpless during your work. Very good. Then you think of Krishna. And by that, you have to come to the next level. Yat karos, yat asnas, yat karos, dadas, whatever you do, whatever you give away. So your work itself should become a means to connect with Krishna. I was 40 years ago, I was a bookkeeper and accountant. I was doing input of the computer. It was just the beginning of the personal computer. It was a mainframe computer at that time. And I was inputting data, and I had with me Bhagavad Gita. And while I was putting in, I was memorizing verses. that because it's mechanical work, and you connect you connect your mind with Krishna. You are driving, you hear kirtan or lectures that will not be with great attention, but you will hear something at least. That trying to connect, but also internally we have to connect. That because why am I working for Krishna and to get a salary? And the salary is for my house. My house, I turn it into a temple. So you are working for the temple. That and also you work to maintain your family members. You turn them into devotees. So you work for devotees. So it becomes a way of connecting with Krishna. You work, and that you have to healthily realize. That, and then your work becomes different. You are not so attached anymore. I do it for Krishna. Surrender means I'm trying my best, but let Krishna take care. Have that faith, Krishna takes care. And then your life becomes different. You will see things happen sometimes, unexpected. Krishna will manifest himself to you in many ways. But we need that faith. We need that faith. And also, what's very important, what we learn from this pastime here, like this Kaliya pastime, that Kaliya becomes purified, and then he becomes satisfied and feels ecstatic. And that so we have to use material situations to turn them into spiritual. That we have to use suffering to turn in ecstatic love for Krishna. And that's it. I gave a seminar on that in the Ukraine about 20 years ago. And Niranjan Maharaj said to all the devotees in the Ukraine, you should go to that seminar because you have a lot of raw materials suffering to be turned in spiritual happiness. But that's a fact, that it appears suffering, but then it turns into happiness. We see also this pastime that this sight of these dead demons, materially spoken, it would be horrible, but it's here as very artistic and a happy event. So, but that's a process of purification in the heart. But we should follow this guidance Srila Prabhupada gives us in Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. And healthily we connect with Krishna. Krishna consciousness with connecting. Spiritual life, material life means separating from Krishna. Separatist mentality. We have to make this connection. So connect our work one way or another with Krishna. And that's what I could say. Does that help? Okay. Thank you. We are over time already. I was very happy to be with you. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.